Any order you want. It's yours until you give it back to me. So you ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, here we go. Brandon Contes.
All right, you're listening to Brandon Contes here on WFAN, and with the Major League Baseball opening day just around the corner, I wanted to throw my 2 cents in here about the fact that Matt Harvey will not be starting opening day for the New York Mets on April 6th, and he won't be starting the home opener on April 13th either. And I think if he was given either one of these games to start, Met fans would have been satisfied. They would have been pleased. They would have been okay with it. This story is a non-issue. But here you have Met fans who are, they have the attitude, this woe is me attitude all the time. They are always expecting something to go wrong. They're always expecting the Mets to make the wrong decision. So this is about something more than just Matt Harvey not starting either one of these games. This is about the fact that the Mets are always saying, wait till next year. Next year will be good. Next year we'll compete. Next year we'll spend money. Well, 2015 is supposed to be that next year. 2015 is supposed to be the year where Met fans are able to focus on the present, be excited about the present, and not have to just look toward the future, not have to dwell on the past. 2015 is supposed to be the time where this level of expectation for the New York Mets is risen, and it's in large part due to the fact that Matt Harvey is back and Matt Harvey is healthy. And Matt Harvey is the symbol for Met fans and for the Met organization of that starting to transfer from being a losing franchise back to being a winning organization. And I think the Mets, by not starting him in either one of these games, they're taking that symbol away from their Met fans and saying you can't have it at the start of the season. And whatever you want to tell me as far as why it makes sense that the Mets aren't starting Matt Harvey in either one of these games, it's irrelevant, because the bottom line is the Met fan does not trust the Met organization. And the Met organization has done nothing over the course of the last 8 years to earn that trust and earn the benefit of the doubt that they're making decisions for the right reasons. Asking the Met fan to trust the Met organization is like asking them to trust a stingy used car salesman. So there's no trust, there's no credibility, and the Met organization should have saw this coming, and they should have been ready to do anything they could to avoid having the fan base at the start of the season saying, here we go again. That being said, let's go to the phones. We have Joe in Connecticut. Joe, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. What do you got?
Yeah, this call was actually on St. John's.
That's fine.
I wanted to thank Mike and the station for the interview with Lavin. I could have listened to that all day. Just growing up in Connecticut, I know it's a little weird, but he was my idol and got me into basketball.
The interview with Mullen, you mean?
In basketball to where I still coach to this day.
The interview with Mullen, you mean?
But my question or comments was hoping you guys could comment on was that, you hear a lot about how he, his first time he was coach and all that, and might have trouble getting kids because of all that. But I think, to me, his NBA background, I just wanted maybe you guys could comment on that how that was probably bringing kids.
I think the NBA background, that was a while ago, but look, he wasn't, it's not like he was just your average NBA player. He was great. He was on the 92 Dream Team, so I think a lot of people do, even the 17, 18-year-olds, they know who Chris Mullen is, but I mean, the biggest thing for me is this. Chris Mullen has an incredible basketball IQ. There's no question about that. How is he going to be able to teach these kids, and how is he going to be able to coach these kids? That's something that we still have to see. It actually reminds me a little bit of the Phil Jackson hiring for the New York Knicks, because it wins the back pages. The majority of the public is excited about it, creates a lot of buzz. Here's this guy that was an incredible basketball player. He comes in here, but he's doing something that he's never done before. Much like the Knicks with Phil Jackson, Phil Jackson is doing something that he's never done before, and hopefully for Chris Mullen, he gets off to a much better start than Phil Jackson has with the Knicks. All right, thanks for the call, Joe. Thanks for the call, Joe. We have now Tenny in New Jersey. Tenny, how's it going?
Hello, Brendan.
Yeah.
Hello, Brendan.
Hello, you're on the air. What you got?
Hello. Yes, I just want to comment on your Harvey talk, and I just want to say that it's a 162 game schedule,
right?
And so Harvey isn't going to pitch opening day, and he might miss the start, but the Mets have a lot of money invested in him,
right?
And they want to bring him
more so than a lot of money invested in him. They have have a lot because he's very important to them for this season, more so than the actual money that they have invested in right now. But anyway, go ahead.
That's why they shouldn't be starting him right away. You don't want to put pressure on him. You want to bring him along slowly, and you want him to pitch the whole year long. You don't want him pitching early in the year when it's cold out.
Isn't he going to be pitching? Isn't he going to be pitching early in the year? They're not waiting until May or June to start him. He is going to be pitching early on in the year. So if you want him to skip a start, fine then. But let him start 1 o'clock at the home opener on April 13th. And I know that's not where you usually start your ace, but that would have pleased Met fans. Met fans would have been fine with this if he was starting April 13th and they held him out to start the home opener. They wouldn't have had an issue with that. This is a non-story if that's the case.
Fans will be happy if he wins 15 games. It doesn't matter if he wins the games early in the year or if he wins them a little bit later. They want to see him win. They want to have a good year. I think it's a moot point. I really don't think it's a big deal. And I think Met fans can understand that.
Right. Well, Tenny, thank you for the call, but I'll just say this. If you've been listening to the station over the course of the last week, you've realized that majority of Met fans do care when Matt Harvey is pitching at the start of the season, and they're not only focused on what his end results are, but everybody was excited for this season. They were excited for this 2015 season, and one of the biggest ways to signal that now is the time that the Mets are going to be a good team is by having your ace out there at the beginning of the season. Get fans pumped up at the home opener as opposed to having them say, here we go again, and another decision that doesn't make any sense by the Mets. That being said, make sure you're locked in this Saturday for the NCAA Tournament's Final Four. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. with Joe Beningo and Evan Roberts broadcasting live from FanFest in Indianapolis. Then, after the Yankees wrap up their preseason schedule with the game against the Washington Nationals, we'll head back to Indianapolis for pregame coverage at 5 p.m., followed by the Final Four doubleheader. First up, it's the Duke Blue Devils and Michigan State Spartans. Then it's the undefeated Kentucky Wildcats and Wisconsin Badgers in a rematch of last year's Final Four. And a reminder that on Monday we've got more hoops and hardball as the Yankees open the 2015 season at the stadium against the Toronto Blue Jays at 1:05. Plus, we'll take you back to Indianapolis for the championship game at 9 p.m. All here on your flagship station for New York Yankees baseball and March Madness basketball. The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN and WFAN FM New York.
All right, Brandon, good job. All right, let's go to the judges. Tiki, start us off.
So I think that you talk about the Mets, it doesn't make sense for sure, but it makes dollars. We know that people are going to come to the opener because it's opening day and home opener, but if you want people to come on the second day, you have Matt Harvey pitch. So I think that's the reason behind it. I thought you did a really good job with everything. I liked your monologue, and we already talked about not starting with Mullen, but you start with the Mets, and I thought it was fantastic. The only thing when it comes to the callers that I would give you a point on, when the first caller called in and started talking about Steve Lavin, you got to correct them. I know you tried to, but he didn't stop. But you got to correct him right away. And even after he finishes his question, correct him because the rest of your audience may be confused about what he's talking about. But other than that, I thought you did great. Transitions were great. I thought the read was great, and I like your knowledge on the sports that you were talking about.
Thank you.
All right, Kim.
Brandon, I'm curious how much you think that hour and a half with Boomer helped, or were you pretty much of this mindset and this delivery and everything else going into that?
I think one of the biggest reasons that it was helpful was because I was not expecting to do a mock show with Boomer. So here I am. I'm showing up there just expecting to have a meeting with him, and he walks in and he says, okay, here we go. Let's go host a show. And I think that right there, my nerves obviously kicked in. So it just kind of gets you used to being nervous and having a talk with somebody, and I think that was really helpful.
Yeah, you didn't seem nervous. I thought that listening to you could see or you could listen and hear you as a radio voice.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good job.
Thanks.
The Mets topic is one that has now been discussed a lot lately.
Sure.
Going with that one, I don't have a particular problem with it, and it would have gotten calls.
Right.
That's one thing about a topic like that. You know you're going to get calls on it, and
Right.
people are going to have opinions. So I thought you did a really nice job. I actually did think when you tried to correct him and he didn't hear you, and part of that's we're on a remote and everything else, but he clearly meant Mullen and said Lavin, and I thought you did try to correct him, and I appreciated that. In that case, Tiki's right. You do have to do it a little more forcefully, but I was giving you credit for trying to.
Okay.
Because sometimes people would just kind of say, I'm not going to get out the collar for something like that because we all knew what he was talking about. And I actually thought it was sort of a throwaway line, but when you said, you know, Phil Jackson hasn't done this before, now neither has Chris Mullin. Everyone hopes, of course, that Mullin has a little more success. I thought that was a nice reference. It's not one I've heard the correlation much, you know, in this past couple days, and I thought that was a good one. I like that line.
Thanks.
All right, John, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to be honest, Brandon. When I heard you start with the Mets, I'm like, oh, geez, here we go again. Because I literally did a week and a half on Bartolo Colon starting opening day. So I was a little nervous when I heard you start with that topic, but I thought you did a really, really nice job. Very comfortable, very confident, and I could definitely see myself hearing you on the air, and I really liked your style. One thing to keep in mind, when you transitioned at the end of your monologue into your call, I think you could have threw a little bit of a tease in there, and you'll probably learn this if you get the chance to do it, where you could say, listen, I think the Mets are dropping the ball here. They should have been starting Harvey on opening day or at the home opener. What do you think? Throw the number and away you go. Right. And then as far as what your take was with the St. John's Lavin stuff, I thought you did a good job of actually correcting them. You got in there eventually, and the guy kept saying Lavin over and over again. You got to a point where it's like, enough of this. I can't be doing this anymore. So I was glad that you were able to do that, and I liked your comparison with Phil Jackson, Chris Mullin. Very similar. Job well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, Brandon, you feel good about everything?
Yeah,
Good. Congratulations.
All right, thank you very much.
Guys, we have one more to go. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Back after this.
Yay!